I want to get this video done. I want to get it finished. Oh, hi there. How are y'all? I suppose you're wondering what happened to my neck. Why am I wearing a bandage there? Just a few days ago, I had a cyst removed. Nothing serious, but yes, I had the doctor remove a cyst. Nope, I didn't get the video done that day, but I did get the stitches out and got the bandage off. This experience of getting a cyst removed made me think of causative verbs. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to look at using get in another way, along with 4 other verbs that we call causative verbs. These verbs are have, make, let, and help. After we look at these 4 verbs, we'll look at using get in this same way. We often study this group of verbs together because the sentence structure we use to show a cause-effect relationship with these verbs is different than the structure we use with other verbs. Look at how we use the verb want, which is not a causative verb. Bill wanted his son to study. Bill wanted his son to study. In this sentence, we have 2 actions and 2 different performers of those actions. Bill wanted. What did he want? He wanted his son to study. Want is the true verb of the sentence, and Bill is the subject. After his son, we use the infinitive to study for the second action. When we use most other verbs with this pattern, we use the infinitive, which is to plus the base form of the verb. Here are more sentences with this same pattern. Mary told the man to leave. Mary told the man to leave. Mary, the subject, told, the verb. Whom did Mary tell? The man. What did Mary tell the man? To leave, the infinitive. I asked my friend to take me to the airport. I asked my friend to take me to the airport. I is the subject, asked is the verb. Whom did I ask? My friend, which is followed by the infinitive to take. But causative verbs use a somewhat different pattern. Let's look at one of the sentences that I used at the beginning of this video. I had the doctor remove the cyst. Had is a causative verb because I caused the doctor to remove the cyst. I didn't do it myself. This pattern is similar to the one that we used with other verbs, but not exactly the same. I is the subject, had is the verb, then we have someone, in this case the doctor, but notice instead of the infinitive after doctor, there is just the base form, remove, not removes with an S, just remove. When we have someone do something, we are giving someone else the responsibility of doing the second action. In other words, I gave the doctor the the responsibility of removing the cyst. We have someone do something. This is the pattern. Let's call it pattern 1. The subject, then the causative verb, then someone. Sometimes we can also use something instead of someone. Then finally, the base form of the verb. For some of these causative verbs, we have a second pattern. I'm going to show you that second pattern in a moment. The important thing to remember is in pattern 1, we use the base form after someone. Here's another example. John had the mechanic repair his car. John is the subject, had is the verb, the someone is the mechanic. What did the mechanic do? Repair his car. Repair is in the base form. Now let's look at another causative verb, make, in this same pattern. Mary made her son do his homework. When we use make as a causative verb, we mean to force or obligate someone to do something. In this sentence, Mary is the subject. Made is the verb, the causative verb. After made is her son. So Mary forced her son to do his homework. Mary made her son do his homework. Again, we use the base form, do. We do not use the infinitive to do, and we do not use does. Here's another example. The boss made the secretary work late. The boss made the secretary work late. In other words, the boss obligated the secretary to work late. The boss made the secretary work, not to work. Now let's look at how we use let in the same pattern. When we use let as a causative verb, we permit or allow someone to do the second action. Mary let her son play video games. Mary let her son play video games. In this sentence, Mary is the subject, let is the causative verb. After let, we have her son. Mary let her son play video games. Again, we use the base form play, not to play or plays, just play. Here's another example. Yesterday, the teacher let the students go home early. Yesterday, the teacher let the students go home early. The teacher, the subject, let the verb, who? The students, go. Again, the base form go. Even though this happened yesterday, we still use the base form go in that second position after the students. We don't use went. The fourth verb in this group of causative verbs is help. Help is a little easier because there are two options. Most native speakers, including me, use pattern 1, the same one that we use with have and make and let. Here is an example. Mike helped his dad wash the car. Mike helped his dad wash. Wash is the base form. However, other native speakers use the infinitive instead of the base form, just like most other verbs, like the ones we saw at the beginning of the video. So they say, Mike helped his dad to wash the car. Here's another example. Gina helps the secretary organize the files. Or Gina helps the secretary to organize the files. Both are equally correct. When we use help in a causative pattern, the second verb can either be the base form or we can use the infinitive. So we can say organize or to organize in this second example. Now, let's look at get. Get, as a causative verb, can have different meanings. It could mean, in some cases, to pay or convince, or something similar to the way that we used have and make as causative verbs. But when we use get as a causative verb, we need to use to. We need to use the infinitive. Here's an example. Jimmy got his sister to do his homework. Jimmy got his sister to do his homework. By using get here, we understand that probably Jimmy didn't want to do his homework and somehow convinced his sister to do it. But we might also use get in a similar way to have. I could say, I got the doctor to remove the cyst. Here I'm saying that I couldn't remove the cyst myself. I needed the doctor to do it. It's very similar to how we originally used have. I had the doctor remove the cyst. This brings us to pattern 2. Pattern 2 can be used only with the causative verbs have and get. It's not used with make, let, or help. With have and get, we can form this pattern. I had the cyst removed, or I got the cyst removed. In this pattern, we don't mention who removed the cyst. But notice that we use the past participle form of the verb, removed. I had the cyst removed. Here are some other examples. Last week, we had our house painted. Last week, we had our house painted. I got my car repaired on Monday. I got my car repaired on Monday. And oh yeah, soon I'll get this video finished. These two patterns are different than those that we use with most other verbs. But we use have, get, make, let, and help in this way very frequently in English. So it's important to learn these patterns. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can do that down below. And if you liked this video, you can also give it a like down there as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon.